Hi yogis and yoginis, welcome to our chair yoga class that's meant to stimulate the third eye chakra or brow chakra, also called ajna chakra. The third eye, we think about it in that space between the space above our eyebrows, and it includes the pituitary gland, eyes, head, nervous system, and the lower parts of the brain. The color associated with the third eye is either indigo, which is a kind of a darker blue color, or white. The element is light, and the mantra word that we're going to chant a little bit later is Sham, S-H-A-M. And we're also going to practice a kind of an out of the ordinary kind of breathing tool that will help us to really stimulate that third eye. So we're going to have a little fun with that later on. Again, we are going to sing to the third eye chakra to help stimulate it. And we're going to use poses, a lot of them which are downward facing, that help send good fluids down to the third eye. And that helps to create this sense of peace and calm that spreads through all parts of the body. So that'll be a nice treat for us as well. Now, I just wanted to read a little bit here from Michelle Fondin at the Chopra Center. She reminds us that the third eye chakra is a spiritual chakra, which means beyond wisdom. Ajna leads you to an inner knowledge that will guide you if you let it. And we also just want to keep in mind that if you have a good balanced sixth chakra, we have an ability to concentrate, focus, and we trust our intuition. And we do all of this regularly, on a regular basis. Now, if we have an underactive sixth chakra, we might have poor vision, poor memory, poor dream recall and imagination. We also might have difficulty visualizing, difficulty seeing into the future, or denial and insensitivity. So sometimes when I read this list of the underactive chakra, and I think, oh, that's me, and that's me, and that's me. But fear not. If you are checking off anything on that list, there are things we can do to stimulate that chakra and bring it back into balance. And so this class, I think, will help us with that. Now, we want to do it on a regular basis. Use these techniques on a regular basis with purpose, and the purpose is balancing that third eye chakra. So let's go ahead and get started, and you'll see that it's not hard to do, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. So let's go ahead and sit on our chair as we normally would. We want to sit up nice and tall, 2 feet flat on the ground, hips distance apart, which is measured by by 2 fists side by side, wedged in between the knees. So let's start by unwinding here through the shoulders. Rolling those shoulders back and down. You know, at the end of a long day, this is one of the most relaxing things that we can do for the body. Just roll those shoulders back, undoing any unintentional slouching we may have done during our day. And if this is the start of your day when you're doing this practice, think about opening up in the shoulders and in the chest, and opening yourself up to all the good promise of a new day. Now let's roll those shoulders back and down, sitting up tall, 2 feet firmly planted on the ground, engaging the abdominals, shining forward from our heart center and lifting up tall through the crown of our head. Now let's start to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. And as we hear the sound of our healthy breathing, we remember to breathe throughout each pose, especially if the pose is challenging for us. Let's keep breathing rather than holding our breath. And we make a promise to listen to the body at all times, listening to it as it asks us to ease up or when it wants us to extend more of a challenge. And throughout our practice tonight, we want to remind ourselves, I am wise, intuitive, and able to listen to my inner guide. I am wise, intuitive, and able to listen to my inner guide. Let's take a couple more cleansing and centering breaths. And when we're ready, let's slowly open our eyes. Let's inhale tall through our posture. And on the exhale, a gentle turn of the head, looking over one shoulder. Inhaling back to the center. Exhaling as we turn in the opposite direction. Inhaling back to the center. Now a little tilt of the head to one side. Inhale, lift, lift, lift. And on the exhale, we tilt to the other side, inhaling and lifting. Now let's gently lower the chin on the diagonal toward the inside of one elbow, inhaling and lifting, and we'll take a chin drop over to the other side. Inhaling and lifting. Now let's bring both hands together at heart center in Anjali mudra. Let's inhale and open up through the chest, and on the exhale, bring the hands back to the heart. Now, meditation is another way that we can also stimulate the third eye chakra. And at the end of our class today, when we're laying down or sitting down in Shavasana, we will use a guided meditation. And so I hope that you'll enjoy that too. Now let's bring the hands to rest on our lap, pressing the chest forward with an arch in the back for cow. And on the exhale, on the exhale, let's round up into our cat pose. Excuse me. Continuing to move through cat and cow. I'm going to take a little sip of water here. I think I have a little yoga butterfly in my throat here. Always a good idea to have some water close by for that exact reason, and also to hydrate as we move through the class. Another fun way that you can help stimulate the third eye and help keep your focus there is to put on clothes that are in that indigo blue color. But you have to put them on with purpose. So you put on maybe that indigo blue sweater, and every time that you look down, maybe you're typing at your computer and you see that blue color, you say, I am wise, I am intuitive, and I am able to listen to my inner guidance. So you tie it in, you wear that sweater with purpose, knowing that it helps stimulate the third eye to surround yourself with that color. Now let's come back to an upright seated position, and let's roll the shoulders back and down. Let's bring both arms down by our side and inhale and engage the abdominals, On the exhale, a tea kettle reach to one side. Lift, lift, lift with your trunk. Exhale as you reach. Inhaling and lifting tall. Exhaling and reaching. Just a wonderful, gentle side body stretch. Now let's come all the way back upright, roll those shoulders back. Let's inhale, extending one long leg in front of us, flexing the foot, and exhale back down. Extending through the other leg as we inhale and exhale down. Again, sometimes we hear those little sounds coming from the knees when we're bending them. As long as there's no discomfort there, there's no need to be concerned. It really is just air being displaced in the joint. Now, if I did hear or feel some discomfort when I heard that sound, obviously we would want to ease back. Just a wonderful way to lubricate those knees. And usually after those first few clicking sounds, they're lubricated, and so we don't hear that anymore. Now let's lift up one leg, circle through the ankle, or wave it side to side like windshield wipers if that's more comfortable. If you're using a circle pattern, let's reverse it. Now let's point and flex through the whole foot. And then let's switch to the other side. Let's lift, circling through the ankle here. Reverse those circles. Pointing and flexing through the whole foot. Feeling all of the muscles in the ankle and in that lower leg stretching out for us. All right, let's put both feet flat on the ground. Make sure that they're hips distance apart. Let's inhale both arms overhead. And as we exhale, we swan dive to a forward fold. On the inhale, let's lift to monkey with a 45-degree angle for the back. Exhale back to forward fold. Rise up on the inhale, palms touching, and on the exhale, rest the blades of the thumbs at the third eye, a gentle press. Inhale, lifting the arms up. Exhaling as we swan dive. Inhaling up to monkey. Exhaling down to forward fold. Rising tall as we inhale, palms touching. Exhale down to the third eye. Inhaling and lifting, swan diving down. Inhale as we lift to monkey. Exhaling, forward fold. Rising tall. One more time through, seated sun salutations. Now let's bring those arms down and we'll pick up one leg and step it out and over to the side. And on the exhale, bring it back in. So we inhale and step over. We exhale and bring it in. So let's step over those new flowers that are blooming in your yard and then bring that leg back. Trying to get a big range of motion through the hips, but of course, listening to the body at all times. If you're guarding the hips, maybe you're just going to step out to the side just a little bit and then come back in. So there's nothing required ever in our class except to breathe and listen to the body at all times. All of the options that I give are just that, they're options. Nothing is required. One more step out to the side. Come on back to the center, and let's inhale the left arm up to shoulder height. Watch the tips of your fingers as you move that arm to the side with a gentle twist. Inhale that arm back to the center and exhale down. Let's inhale the right arm up. Gently, gently twist through the trunk. Inhaling back to the center and exhale down. Let's find our focus at the tips of those fingers and allow all other thoughts to fade away. One more lateral raise with a gentle twist. All right, now if you want to stay seated for this next part, just move forward on the chair and take a nice wide stance, toes and knees headed in the same direction. If you'd like to stand for this next part, let's stand over to the side of our mats. Nice wide stance here. Let's inhale both arms up to a star position, and on the exhale, bring the elbows in toward the ribs. Inhale, reach for the corners of the room. Exhale into that squatting position. And we want to make sure that when we squat down, the shoulders are still right above the hips. We're trying not to lean forward or back to the best of our abilities. One more moonflower. Now let's get ready to hinge forward and gather with our hinging sunflowers. Rising as we inhale, exhale as we hinge. Now remember, we only need to bring our chest to a parallel position to the ground. We do not need to put our head below the heart for this. Hinging sunflowers. Two more times through. Inhaling the arms up to a star. Let's bend one knee and lean in for side angle pose. And on the inhale, come back to star. Leaning over to the other side, inhaling and rising. So one of the things that we learn with the third eye is to trust our intuition and our inner guidance, which is really going to come into play here, since I realize every time we go into this side bend, I'm halfway off the screen. So I'm trusting all of you yogis and yoginis out there to trust your inner guidance. You know what to do in this side angle flow. One more time, bending over to the side. Come back to the center and let's lower those arms all the way back down. And let's step the feet to hips distance apart. Let's take our right arm and reach it across the chest, using our left arm to hug it in close to the body. Now relax that arm. Let's bring our other arm across and hug it in close. Half knot pose. Now relax that arm. Now, let's bring our right arm across the lower back and check in with this right shoulder. If things are feeling good and challenging and you want to stay here, just stay here. If you want a little more range of motion challenge, you can bind by holding on to your opposite arm, standing up tall, engaging the abdominal muscles, 2 feet flat on the ground, breathing. Now when you're ready, release that bind. Let's take that right arm straight up next to our ear, reach for the sky, and then bend at the elbow, trying to connect with the shoulders or just get closer to them. Now I can take this left arm and gently guide that elbow a little closer to the midline of the body. Now something is going to get in the way, and you know what that is. That's our head. I don't want you to take the head back or tip it down to make a deeper range of motion. I want you to keep that head lifted with the crown parallel to the ceiling. And just feel that nice range of motion work through that right shoulder. Now let's take the left arm down and then the right. When you're ready, reach that left arm across the lower back. First, check in with the shoulder. If you want more range of motion, bind with the opposite arm. Now let's release that bind. Take that left arm up next to the ear. And again, we reach toward the shoulders and maybe add that little range of motion work. Now relax one arm and then the other, and let's roll those shoulders back and down. Now, coming over towards our chair, we're going to use downward dog facing the side of our chair to get a little lower than we normally would. So let's inhale, both arms overhead. Put a little bend in the knees as you swan dive down and place both hands onto the chair seat or cushion. Now, we're going to try our best to keep the hands about shoulders width apart. It can be a little tricky depending on the chair you're using. And let's walk ourselves back into a downward dog. Now, with my chair, I have to kind of slide my hands in a little closer to each other, but we're still going to get that wonderful lengthening of the spine. We're still straightening the legs as much as is comfortable today. And we have our head down on the decline. which means that we're sending good lubricating fluids, good hydrating fluids down to the third eye, stimulating it. So let's breathe. Now when you're ready, let's walk ourselves up to the chair, put a little bend in the knees and gently rise up tall, palms touching, and on the exhale, rest the blades of the thumbs at the third eye. And let's take 3 breaths. Now let's bring those arms all the way down, and we'll turn our seat cushion away from us so we can do these warrior poses behind our chair. So we're going to start off with the left foot stepping as far back as we can step, with that whole left foot connecting to the floor behind us. I know it's hard to see, but the whole foot is on the ground. Let's turn our hips to face forward for warrior 1. Now, you can always hold on to the chair with 2 hands, maybe just 1 hand, or let go altogether, and you can always come right back. So let's look straight ahead for warrior 1. Engaging the abdominals, looking straight out into the distance with a soft gaze through the eyes. And we remind ourselves, I am wise, I am intuitive, and I am able to hear my inner guidance. Now when you're ready, we're going to take that back foot and gently step back into warrior 2. So my front toes that are closest to my chair, they're still facing forward, but my back foot is now parallel to the back of the mat. We feel this opening of the hips. We're looking out over that front middle finger, and you're welcome to keep the pose still or flow the pose if you'd like a little movement here. So again, we have options. We can listen to that inner guidance, and it'll tell us what it's in the mood for today. Two more breaths here. Now let's come back to warrior 2. You can rest the hand in front on that chair top, or rest it by bending it on and resting it on your front leg. Let's lean into side angle pose here. A nice side bend, rotating that upper shoulder back so the chest is nice and open here. Breathing, and this hand resting on the chair or resting on our leg is just resting. We're not pressing down hard. We're just resting it. Let's take 3 more breaths. Side angle. Now when you're ready, let's come back to warrior 2. Relax those arms and step all the way up to the back of the chair. Let's walk ourselves back to downward dog at this upper level and press back through the tailbone. Feeling that wonderful long stretch for the spine. If you want to pepper in a plank pose here, you can inhale forward with the shoulders in line with the wrists, and then on the exhale, come back. So what you're doing is you're coming up onto the tiptoes and then reconnecting those feet to the ground. One more breath here, whether you're staying still or flowing this pose. Now, maybe we'll wag the dog's tail just to stretch out the side body a little bit. Now, let's bring the hips to the center and walk ourselves all the way up to the back of the chair. Let's use those same warriors on the other side now. So take that other foot back, squaring our hips to face forward. Decide if you want to hang on to the chair or let go. Shoulders are always stacked above the hips. We're not leaning forward and we're not leaning way back. Just a good shoulders over the hips alignment. Now, when you're ready, let's take that back foot, step it back into more of a balance beam stance, looking out over the front shoulder if you're holding onto the chair, or looking out over that front middle finger if you're letting go. And again, you can flow the pose here, or you can keep everything still. Three more breaths. Coming back to Warrior Two when you're ready. We can rest that front hand on the chair or bend it and rest it on our front leg as we lean in for side angle pose. Again, we rotate that upper shoulder back. We're just resting on the chair or on that front leg. Now let's come back to Warrior Two. Relax those arms and step all the way up to the back of the chair. Now let's step away from the chair a little bit so we've got some room to move these arms. We're going to use our monkey flow in a standing position. Of course, if you want to sit down on your chair, you're welcome to do so. Let's inhale both arms overhead, palms touching, and on the exhale, bring the hands to rest at the third eye. On the inhale, we lift the arms up and we swan dive down as we exhale. Inhaling and lifting to monkey with a flat back if you're standing. And on the exhale, down to forward fold. Rising up tall as we inhale, palms touch. Exhale down to the third eye. Last time through. Now let's bring those arms all the way back down. Now, one of the ways that we can also really increase our balance and increase our focus, which is one of the tenets of a good balanced third eye chakra, is to purposely practice poses that require a good deal of focus. So I'd like you to turn your chair back to the front of your classroom, wherever you are. I'm going to turn my chair a different way because I'm going to run into my backdrop here if I don't. I'm going to stand beside my chair for this next pose. We're going to practice Warrior 3, which is a balancing pose where we balance on one leg. If you're guarding that hip that I'm asking you to balance on, another nice alternative is an airplane hinge where you have 2 feet flat on the ground. We hinge forward with our palms down toward the floor, and that would be a nice option here if you need to have both legs on the ground. So if you're okay with balancing on one hip, I want you to stand beside your chair, and the leg closest to your chair will be your grounded leg. The other leg, we're going to bring those toes just slightly behind us. Let's inhale, engaging the abdominals, and on the exhale, let's hinge forward from the hips, coming into Warrior 3. And that leg that's in the air is reaching up as high as is comfortable. I can choose to take my free hand out to the side like airplane wings. I might take the other arm out to the side as well, but it's not required. And another option would be to have one long arm in front of you or 2 long arms. And we engage the abdominals, we focus, 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 breathing. Warrior 3, let's take 4 more breaths. And when you're ready, gently, gently rise up. Yes, some of these hard, challenging poses that require so much from us are so beneficial for us. So it's requiring a good deal of focus, requires those abdominals to be engaged, it requires the breath. So let's clear the mind here. Let's do it all again on the other side. I'm just going to turn around and face the other direction this time. So when you're ready, let's take the toes furthest from the chair, just slightly behind us. Let's inhale, engaging the abdominals. On the exhale, we hinge forward from the hips. You can take that free hand out to the side or out long in front of you. You're welcome to let go of the chair, but it's not required. Find your steady focal point and breathe. Focusing, focusing, focusing. And when you're ready, let's lift, 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 and shake out those legs. Very nice. If you have some water close by, let's go ahead and take a drink. Always a wonderful idea to stay hydrated during our practice. All right. We've got to turn on our yoga candles too. And we have some in an indigo color, which is so nice. All right. So now, with our chair facing forward, now I'm back on the same platform as everybody else. We're going to do a dolphin pose, which is very similar to downward dog, except instead of having long arms going down, we're going to balance on our forearms. Very similar pose though through the rest of the body. And it sends good fluids down to our third eye. So let's inhale both arms overhead, swan diving down, connecting with this chair seat. Let's take 2 steps back with each foot, so it's not as far back as downward dog. Let's lower the forearms down to our chair, lace the fingers, and tuck in the bottom pinky. And when you're ready, we're going to push back through the tailbone. So your head may be sliding right between the arms, almost as if you're wearing your arms like earmuffs. And we want to straighten the legs as much as is comfortable today. Breathing. Enjoying this long-legged stretch and this lengthening of the spine that dolphin is offering. Sending good fluids down to our third eye today. Now when you're ready, walk those feet up to your chair, unlace the fingers, little bend in the knees as we rise up tall, and we bring those arms down. Now let's take both hands together at heart center in Anjali mudra. Let's inhale, engaging the abdominals, rising up tall, and on the exhale, starting below the navel, we begin to twist over to one side of our room. Using our twisting pose to not only lubricate all the nooks and crannies of the spine, but also to wring out anything that is hindering us from being able to concentrate and focus and trust our intuition. Let's wring those obstacles away. Now gently, gently, we come on back to the center. Let's try it on the other side. Let's inhale, engaging the abdominals, lifting up tall. Then we begin to twist. Elongation before rotation. That keeps the spine nice and safe. Gently, gently, let's come on back to the center and relax those arms. Let's take both arms overhead and gently swan dive to a forward fold. If you're folded down and you can reach your toes, you can use your peace fingers to hook onto the big toes here. If you're not quite down that far, that's okay. Why don't you wrap your arms around the back of the legs? That's a wonderful option as well, a little leg hug. Allowing the head, the neck, and the shoulders to relax. Breathing deeply. 4 more breaths. Now when you're ready, release your bind. Put a little bend in the knees if you're standing and rise up slowly and lower those arms all the way down. And let's have a seat now on our chair. All right, so I thought we'd use a little cat and cow here just to keep the spine good and relaxed and flexible and lubricated. Hands on the lap. Let's inhale as we press forward. Exhale and round through the spine. Inhaling, pressing forward. One more time, rounding through the spine. Now let's come back to a neutral position. Let's move forward on the chair with a wider stance, and let's take some upper body circles. So inhale, press the chest out to the front, and on the exhale, round through the spine. So we're pressing forward at the front, we're rounding through the spine. One more time in this direction, and then we'll reverse. Now, when you get to the back here, let's go the other way. Inhaling and pressing forward. Exhale, rounding. one more time around, coming all the way back to the center. Very nice. And just bring those hips, or excuse me, those feet back to hips distance apart, sitting back in the chair, but not all the way back just yet. Now we're going to work on our Brahmari breath, which is also called bee's breath. And I'm going to get a little closer to the camera so you can see everything that's happening in this breathing exercise. So what we're going to do is find a way to activate the third eye with our breathing. So this is a little bit kooky, but I think you're going to like it. So I want you to take your two middle fingers and you're going to gently rest them over your closed eyelids. The first finger is going to rest right above the eyebrows, and the pinky finger will rest just under the eyes, right about at the cheek, okay? Now, open your eyes for a second. Now you've got that part down. If you look at your ear, I'm going to show you here. There's a little nubby piece right there, and it kind of sticks out a little bit. So what we're going to do there is use our thumbs to gently press down on that little nub, and it's going to kind of close off the ear. So the ears are closing, and they're going to be closed on both sides. So that what the next thing that we'll do is we'll inhale, and on the exhale we're going to hum at the same time as we're exhaling, and we're going to hum all the way to the end of our exhale, and then we're going to do it again, and we're going to do it 5 times through. Okay, so let's get ready. 2 middle fingers over the eyelids, pointer finger on top of the eyebrows or just above, and the pinky fingers just below. Take your thumbs in and let's close the ears. When you're ready, it's going to go like this. Very good. Now go ahead and relax those hands. When you take your hands down, you might notice this tingly feeling all in the face, in the ears, and it's just this wonderful vibration here. And Brahmari breath, bee's breath, is a breath that can help bring balance to that third eye chakra or brow chakra. So I know it's a little strange, a little bit out of the ordinary, but if we're looking for balance there, that's one more tool that we can use. Now, I'm going to sit back down. We're going to sing that little seed mantra Sham to our third eye chakra. So let me have a seat first. We'll get ready to do this. So I like to sit when I chant. There's, of course, no right way or wrong way, but I like to sit tall and just turn my palms of my hands upward. It's a receiving gesture. So when we're ready, we're going to inhale. On the exhale, we'll say Sham, and it can be high or low and anywhere in between. And we're going to the end of our exhale, and then we'll start again. Okay, 5 times through. Let's go. Sham. Very nice. Just a simple little word that you can sing to that chakra. Let's take those feet out wide one more time from our chair. Now let's take both arms out to the side, inhaling. And on the exhale, we're going to bend one elbow and just rest in side angle pose. So again, remember, we're not pressing down real hard on this leg. We're gently resting. So basically, if someone came and knocked the arm out of the way, we'd still have this wonderful side body stretch for the trunk. Now when we're ready, lift, lift, lift. Let's take it right over to the other side for side angle. And on the inhale, let's rise up, relax those arms, duck walk those feet back in. Let's take a seated spinal twist. The right hand is resting on the left leg. We inhale tall, and on the exhale, we twist over toward the left side of our mat. Now gently, gently we unwind. Let's take that left hand and rest it on the right knee. Inhaling tall first, that's the elongation. Then we twist as we exhale, that's the rotation. Now gently, gently, we're unwinding back to the center. Let's find our own comfortable position for Shavasana, whether you want to lie down flat on the ground or just sit all the way back in the chair to relax. It's up to you. I am going to turn our lights down here. You're welcome to do so at home as well. And as I mentioned earlier, we're going to read through a guided meditation today. So all that is required is that we try to be as still as is comfortable. We breathe deeply and just listen to the guided meditation. And I want to thank the writers over at domeditation.com for writing this guided meditation script for us that we'll be using today. So when you're comfortable in Shavasana, let's take a long and deep breath. As we exhale, let's move our attention to the center of our forehead, in between the brows and just above the brow line. And let's imagine an indigo blue chakra. The dark indigo glow of the chakra illuminates our mind and then spreads to the rest of our body. Imagine an entrance to our mind through the third eye. We open the door and walk into an empty room, feeling free to decorate the room any way we like. We choose our colors, decor, the look, and the feel. We make it suit our taste exactly so that it becomes our personal sanctuary. And we find the most comfortable spot in the room and we sit down. We look out onto the world from there, bringing into focus the same thoughts, issues, situations, and ideas that occupy our day-to-day life, and we silently contemplate upon them. Now we see our sixth chakra spinning and gaining strength. As it spins faster, the chakra's indigo light washes over us and pervades every cell, every pore in our body. We breathe deeply and we feel the energy bursting forth from our third eye as rays of dazzling deep blue light. And we rest in this awareness. We gently stand up and walk to the door through which we entered the room. We walk out and look back at our inner sanctuary and feel one with it. Let us slowly bring awareness back to the body and the mind, slowly inviting small movements to the fingers and the toes, gently, gently waking them. And we begin to breathe a little more deeply, inviting that good, nourishing oxygen to fill all parts of the physical body and the mind. And we find our hearts are shining with gratitude. Grateful for this practice that helps us bring balance to our third eye chakra through physical pose work, breath work, focusing on the challenging poses, singing to our chakra as well. And we're always grateful for this body and this breath and this mind that carries us through our practice in every moment of our day. Now, for those who are lying down for Shavasana, when you're ready, let's bring and hug those knees in toward the chest, bending them. Maybe gently, gently rocking them side to side to massage the back in a gesture of self-care. Now gently we roll the entire body over to one side on the floor as we each breathe in the peace, the focus, and the balance that we've shared here today. And we exhale all of the warmth, kindness, encouragement, and love that we have for each other, for the world around us, and for ourselves. And for those lying down, when you're ready with eyes still closed, let's make our way back up to an easy seated posture. And I invite each one of us here to bring the palms together at heart center in Anjali mudra. And let's start to rub the hands vigorously, warming those hands today. And let's use our warm hands to gently cover our closed eyes. Ooh, that wonderful heat that we find there is inviting our eyes to slowly open, and we bring those hands down to rest upon our laps. Clear minds, kind words, compassionate hearts. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today for this balancing practice for the third eye chakra. I hope that you'll join us for our next practice, which will be for the crown chakra. So we will have covered all 7 chakras at that point, and you can use these chakra balancing practices anytime that you need a little maintenance in those areas. So I hope that you'll come back next time for our next video. Stay tuned and be well, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.